Get on in here, everybody. It's tea time. Yep, it is tea time. And I got to come up with a topic while people are getting in here. Let's see if I have any in my teapot. There's none in my teapot. And I have one in my wise old owl. Let's see what's in here. There's Tammy. Oh, this is a good one. There's my brother-in-law. Get on in here. So most of you know that tomorrow we start our back to basics, our basic stuff. And the topic that I pulled out of the wise old owl, and I'm so glad it was in the wise old owl because this was a hard one for me to learn. It really was. It was a tough, tough thing for me to learn. But once I learned it, everything kind of fell into place. And it was kindness. And you know which kindness that was? The most important kindness is being kind to ourselves. So on New Year's Day of 1999, and tea time, folks. Get your tea. Tea. This is mine and Leanne's Wise Women's Tea. It's the Body Clutter brand. Get it. Oh, my. Anyway. So, kindness on that New Year's Day, I was determined. I made that New Year's resolution. Well, you know, a lot of people make New Year's resolutions, and by this time of the month, they've already thrown them out and said, oh, I can't do this. Well, guess what? You can do it, but you've got to be kind to yourself, and you've got to let go of the fact that you made a mistake. We beat ourselves up when we miss a day, or when we do something wrong, or we have an accident, or we get busy and forget. Our tea is caffeinated. Our next batch we buy, we will get some that's decaffeinated. So, we're starting back to basics tomorrow. And that's the thing that the first part of our back to basics is not to pile on and be mean to ourselves. That's what happened to me when on that New Year's Day I decided I was going to get organized. And what I did was I had all this card file system, this huge card file system. And I was obsessive compulsive, I'll be honest with you. My card file system wasn't just a little 3x5 card file system. I had to have a card for every single thing, everything. And my card file system was 18 inches long. In fact, the other night I went down into the basement and Robert had taken this wooden box that I used for my card file system and had used it in his filing system for screws and stuff on his shelves. And there it was, this little piece of wooden box that I had 500 cards and dividers and 31 days, and I was obsessed. And that card file system beat me down because I allowed it to beat me down. So what I had to do was pick one habit. What I realized, I was being mean to myself by here's the key. I was being mean to myself by piling on, thinking I had to do it all. I had to jump in and do it all. And what I realized that New Year's Day was that I had never established a habit. Never established a habit. And the she-boards were not on Yahoo, y'all. They were not on Yahoo. They were on a Portland newspaper or a Seattle newspaper page. Anyway, back to getting organized. I was the worst at piling on. If I can do 3 things, I can do 15. Well, guess what? You can't do them all at the same time. And what I realized that New Year's Day was that I had never really established a habit. I didn't even read that section in Pam and Peggy's book because I thought I knew more than they did. And I just skipped that section. If you once you establish a habit of a card, you can throw it away. Well, I didn't throw any cards away. I just kept collecting more cards. And the more cards I collected, the more I didn't want to do it because I was overwhelmed. So this process of being kind to ourselves is really special. You have to recognize when you get overwhelmed. You have to recognize when you're saying ugly things to yourself. I mean, last night before bed, Robert and I talked about a philosopher. And he said if something is good, and it's good for everybody, being kind is being kind to yourself translates to being kind to others. And isn't that the golden rule? To do unto others as you would have them do unto you. So being kind starts here. Love one another. Love yourself. Love your neighbor as yourself. And we can do this. So let's be kind to ourselves. And when we're gentle with ourselves, and that goes with decluttering too. I'm pulling all this back together. Decluttering gently in 2020 teaches us that just enough is plenty. If we had somebody come into our house and declutter our house all at 1 and 2 days, we would feel assaulted. We would feel awful. We would feel like somebody took away our security blanket. So let's be kind to ourselves and do it a little at a time. When a little at a time goes away, you don't even realize it. Somebody asked me one time in an interview, what's the strangest thing you ever decluttered? And I couldn't think of it. And finally, it hit me. We bought it at an auction. It was a rolling cart that was blue. I'll never forget it. It was blue, and it was taking up our garage, and it was filled with aluminum airplane rivets. We got it in an auction, and it was full of aluminum airplane rivets. We didn't know where to declutter it. The recycle place wouldn't take it. And it was just, we kept holding on to it and holding on. And finally, we gave the whole thing away to the people that were remodeling our house. Mark Goff. Justin was working for him at the time. And they loaded that big blue thing up and took it away. I think it was a big primitive cart that some engineer had built who liked to build planes. That was the weirdest thing I ever decluttered. Now, I did declutter a bowl, 2 bowls, that were my great-grandmother's. My great-grandmother, Mama Wheeler's butterbean bowl was one of them. And I knew who I gave them to put in her antique unit at the antique mall, and I went and bought them. Back. I still have them. Still have Mama Wheeler's butterbean bowls. So, brings me joy, makes me happy, but you declutter a little at a time. And doing it gently will help you more than anything to be kind to yourself. And that's kindness is the key. Being kind during this process and not beating yourself up. Well, folks, don't forget about our sales we got going on. We got an introductory offer on our Back to Basics package. And Back to Basics starts tomorrow. Get your book. We've been going through this book all month. It's a great book for getting started. We're going to hammer it home with our Back to Basics missions. And we're going to have some fun. We're going to have some fun. We're going to let go of our perfectionism, and we're going to get things done. So, folks, I'm going to go see my granddaughter be in a Shakespeare play and maybe go to dinner with them afterwards. I love you all, and I will talk to you tomorrow where we're going to kick off Back to Basics. And our carpet sweeper is $10 off, and the multi one, which keeps you from climbing, is half price, $8.47. $21.95 on the carpet sweeper. I love you all. Talk to you later.